To this webinar. Today we're going to present you a new feature. It's kind of a big feature. This project software. So the software basically this is a project that started about 10, 12 years ago now. It was something not as advanced as now. We met with Stefan something like 2 to 3 years ago. And we started really this project. Stefan joined, and we made something very simple, very accessible for most of users. The idea behind this software is to provide something with all information to people who don't have access to such information, such as the composition of ingredients, the nutritional requirements for a lot of different animals. So the idea is to help most of farmers, small feed producers, but also technicians, nutritionists that are here to help to the valorization of local ingredients, produce protein, so from eggs, chicken, pig production, fish, aquaculture, to help to provide low-cost protein for human consumption. So there's these values behind this project that we carry, and we really wanted to keep this application free for users. So we developed, beside this project, we have a bunch of services that we offer to companies, private companies or organizations, and that help us to run this project on the long term. And we really wanted to keep this application free to help the majority of people and kind of answer to the big challenges of tomorrow's agriculture, say, meaning trying to optimize the use of ingredients, trying to optimize the use of arable land, which is a limited resource, and trying to provide animal protein for human consumption at the lowest cost possible. So this is the values we share and we carry, and hopefully this application will be useful to you. We had an issue like formulation is something a little bit technical. Sometimes with the ingredients available, it's kind of difficult to find a solution. Sometimes the software is unable to respect all the nutritional requirements with the ingredients that the user has selected. So we wanted to provide some more help and try to guide the user in, okay, what's not working, why it is not working, where is the issue, and how we can help you to find appropriate ingredients to solve this problem. So this is why today we are very happy to launch this new feature, which we call the assistant formulation assistant, maybe in English. And we're gonna go through this new feature today, and I'm gonna show you how it works basically, and hopefully it will help you to improve in your nutritionist skills. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm gonna start. Okay, so let me know if you see the screen.
Not yet. See, it's okay.
It's okay? Great.
Perfect. It's okay.
Good. So here I'm gonna set it common formula and then the most used one, which is broiler rover. And so we still just for those maybe who are not familiar with the application, we still have we keep the same. There's no big change in the previous version. So we still have the menu with the ingredients that you can select and input prices, and you can save a list of ingredients. You can choose your list if you want to modify it here. You can have a list of ingredients classified by main characteristics. So this isn't changed. And we've got the menu with formulas. You basically choose what kind of feed you want to formulate. So I'm going boiler, grower, and I have a list that I created for the purpose of this webinar, which is this one. So I have some maize bran, oyster shells, and coral, fish meal with a low content of protein, cottonseed meal, soybean meal 46, wheat bran, maize, and wheat sulfate. And I got my premix, 2.5%. So as a reminder, premix is always necessary. In your feed formulation, it will bring some trace minerals, meaning selenium, zinc, copper, iodine, choline, manganese. Basically, these are the most, and iron, yes, the most important ones. It will bring vitamins in sufficient quantity. The normal ingredient bring vitamins, but this one, the premix brings, you make sure that you have the necessary amount of vitamins in the mix. And usually brings some amino acids and sometimes some additives or specialties like enzymes, which provide some additional safeties and additional performances to the mix. So always use the premix here. You still have the possibility to add your own premix to personalize as much as possible the formulation. And we've got below the nutritional analysis of our mix with the constraints of the nutritional requirements, the minimum and the maximum to avoid any toxicity in the feed. So when I usually was sometimes before when you were formulating, sometimes you had this window opening telling you that there was no solution found. And from that point, sometimes maybe you didn't know what to do, what to change in the mix, so you could find a solution. So here is where the new feature will help you. So when you formulate and when there is no solution, you've got this window that opens and that advise you to add new ingredients, because basically when you don't have a solution, the only way to solve this problem is to add new ingredients that will allow you to find a solution. And it asks you if you would like to use the formula wizard to solve the issue. So if you click no, or if you close the window, yeah, then you just come back to the main formula menu, and you can make your changes and formulate as usual. But if you click on yes, then the software will calculate you automatically an approximation, the best formula it can, with the ingredients you have selected. To do that, basically we have an algorithm that we developed that take into account the priority of the nutrients, meaning that some nutrients are more important to comply than others. For example, we believe it's much more important to meet the protein and energy requirements rather than meet the fat requirements, where we have maybe a little bit more flexibility. So we have an order of priorities, and depending on these priorities, then the software try to find the best solution possible. And we always give you a solution. Sometimes it will be a bad solution. Sometimes it will be kind of, okay, more or less good solution. So we have kind of three level of solution. We have first, if no solution is possible, then we will find one that is pretty close to the nutritional requirements, meaning that this formula could be used in your farm, could be used to feed the animals. There won't be any risk of disease, probably, or any risk of higher mortality. But maybe you will have, you can't expect good performances, I would like as good as feed that you would buy in on the market, complete feed that you would buy on the market. Yes, your animal will produce or grow, but maybe a little bit less than they could. So it would be good not to expect the best performances possible with this. So it's kind of a yellow window that would appear with a score telling you that it's not perfect, but it's okay. And then we have a second one that you will have a lower score with a window appearing in red. Like, okay, this is an approximation, but this formula basically should not be used because in the farm to feed animals, because there are too many differences between the value of the mix and the nutritional requirements. So if you feed the animal with these, you probably observe low performances and maybe have some issues with animal health, and it's not good to use this formula. And then we have the third step, like, okay, you have a solution, but really don't use this formula. It is so you will have a black window, and this is not good at all to feed the animal with this. The thing is, we give a solution, and then you will be able to see where the problems are, and thanks to that, you will be able to choose what to add in the mix or what to look for. So we're going to go through an example, and you will probably better understand. So here, for example, I will click yes, I want to use the formula wizard. So I have a window telling me, okay, we found a formula, but the score is like 3.48 over 5. And we have a warning, like this formula should not be used as feed. There are some major imbalances that have been identified, and you really need to select other ingredients to calculate the balance feed. And you have some clues about what nutrients cause the issue. Like here, crude protein, lysine, methionine, plus cysteine, calcium, and sodium are some nutrients that probably have an issue. So you can close the window, or you can click and see the formula, and then the formulation, the best formula possible with these ingredients appear in the window. So you have the mix as usual, classified by the more important, and then the less important in terms of quality. We have our premix at 2.5%, and we have the nutritional analysis of the mix. So if we go through the results, we can observe that in red, where we have some requirements that are not met. So crude protein is much lower than the minimum. So we are at like 17.2% instead of 19, which means that clearly if we give this formula to the animals, we won't have growth, we won't have good production, very low performances. So it is important, again, not to use this formula. We have here lysine, which is lower than the minimum, methionine plus cysteine lower than the minimum. We have calcium, which is over the maximum. So the problem with calcium, in this case, it won't be big issue. Like 9.9% instead of 9 won't be a big issue. The thing is, calcium, when it comes in high quantities, it will lower the variability and the assimilation of other nutrients, especially amino acids or phosphorus, in the digestive tract of the animal. So the more calcium, the less assimilation you have of important nutrients in the digestive tract of the animal. So it is important not to go too much further the maximum for calcium. Sodium is also very, very low, 1.4%. The three major issues we usually have in formulation that we observed is related to three ingredients. When someone has an issue, it's very common that salt has been forgotten, and salt is the ingredient that will provide basically sodium. Yes. And sometimes there's no source of calcium or no source of phosphorus. So these three elements usually are the more one causing an issue. So make sure that in your ingredients that you select the source of calcium, sodium, and phosphorus. So here, for example, we are very low in sodium and we don't have salt in our ingredients. So salt is a very common ingredient. I believe everyone has salt. So we're gonna add salt at first. We're gonna check in minerals here, and I'm gonna check and add salt. Okay, salt has been added. Check the price, and you can modify it if necessary. And then we will click again on formulate. So again, we don't have any solution, and the software proposes us to use the formula wizard. So we're going to say yes and see what's happening. So we have a better score at the moment. Yeah, we had like 3.48. We have 3.63. We are in red, so it means that formula should not be used as feed because there are major differences between the result and the nutritional requirements. And we have again the list of nutrients that may cause the problem. We have the crude protein and amino acids here, and the phosphorus. We're going to check the formula, see the result in details. So we are at 16.6% protein, 8.9 for lysine, 7.7 for methionine plus cysteine, and 4.79% for the phosphorus available. We are quite close. We are much closer to the minimum for phosphorus. We are not that far. We are we are very far for the protein. The amino acids, not that much, I would say. Yeah. So we're gonna try to look now for sources of protein, which is an important nutrient. To do that, I'm gonna go in my ingredients list here, and I'm gonna check for high protein content ingredients. So here are a list of ingredients that contain a lot of protein. So hopefully you can select one that is available on your market or near you. And we're gonna select to check. We're gonna select Brewers Grain 25 for the start. It's quite a common ingredient, and I click on formulate. Yes, and I have the same score, 3.63. I'm going to check the formula, and basically nothing has changed. The brewer's grain did not enter the formula, so it's not interesting at this price. It's not entering the mix. It's not providing the nutrients that we are needing at the moment. The thing is, sometimes So here at the moment, what's happening is that the software is looking for protein, but if you pay attention, we have reached the maximum of calcium here. So it's like looking that will provide protein, but without any calcium in it. Otherwise, it goes above the maximum. So it's kind of complicated thing to find, and it's difficult for the software at the moment to find this. There is one. There are two. Well, one source of protein that provides nothing else than protein. It's the amino acids. Uh, it is quite common to find them on the market if you have a distributor of feed premixes. Usually you can buy these ones. So I'm gonna add it to the mix and I'm gonna formulate and click on yes. And now I've a yellow window with a score of 4.93, which is much better, meaning that this formula would be used with caution. And there's only one issue left with phosphorus. So I'm going to check the formula and see what happened. And I've got enough protein. Almost everything is green, which is good. Here, just the issue. I have some red here because I'm slightly above the maximum of lysine and slightly above the maximum of methionine. And this, I want you to pay attention to that. I wanted to show you this because sometimes it happens. It's not normal to have such high levels of amino acids because amino acids are something that are quite expensive, and it's not normal to have these entering at such levels. Yes, even if it, it seems to be uh, providing a good source of protein. It's not really normal that they enter at like 2%, 1 point something. Yes, and probably if you check the price with what you usually have, what you should have, you would probably notice that the price here is quite expensive. If you are used to know what will be the normal price of that feed, it won't be like 370. We're going to try with some other source of proteins. And later we're going to check what's going on with the phosphorus. We could also like select a source of phosphorus, trying to solve the issue. Just want to show you first what happens if we select various source of proteins. So we're going to click on black soldier, and we're going to click on soybean fat toasted. I'm gonna just unpick at the moment the soybean, not to take it into account in the formulation, and formulate just with this black soldier fly meal. There's no solution. I click yes, I want to have the result working for me, and see the formula, and nothing has changed. Basically, it has not, the black soldier fly meal hasn't entered the formula, so it's not interesting in that mix. Now I'm gonna click on soybean meal, soybean full fat, sorry, and click on formulate, and something interesting has happened here. I don't have the window like telling me there is no solution found. It means that the software has found an ideal solution, it seems. So with the help of the formulation result. So I can go and check the composition quickly. Something interesting is that my amino acids are entering at a much lower level, which seems much more normal. The price earlier we had 370, now we have 317, which is much lower, much lower. So it seems like more normal to me. And we basically have everything on the green color here. It's just a little bit lower for the for the methylene plus cysteine, which appears in red. It should not basically, but it's not. Yeah, very close. That's not an issue, and at this stage. So here is okay something a good formula that we could use, and we basically solved the issue using. So what there's one ingredient that saved us, I would say, which was the soybean full fat. It was the one that bring interesting nutrients that allow us to solve the issue we were facing. So this is very important to for you to try to find ingredients that will help you to solve this issue. About the amino acids, sometimes some people don't want to buy it because it's expensive, and it is actually. It is expensive, like the price is expensive. Let's see what's going to happen if so we have 317 here as price. And what's going to happen if I formulate without it, the price increase a lot. I have a solution, but the price increase a lot. My point here is that even if you have some expensive ingredients on the market available, you think it's too expensive, don't think of, instead of the software. Let the software do the work. The software will find you a solution that will be the cheapest one. Even if you add a very expensive ingredient to the mix, maybe this ingredient brings something that will make the whole mix much cheaper than what you could have without these ingredients. So do not hesitate to formulate with these. As long as it is available on the market, just select it, put the price, and see what's going to come out from the software. Earlier, we had an issue with the phosphorus, which was a little bit low. So it means in this context, there's still an issue with the phosphorus, and it's quite common. So you have different ways to solve the issue. You can add ingredients that contain a lot of phosphorus. So again, we can go and click and see something with high content of phosphorus here. You can also go into the minerals and select the ingredient that contains phosphorus. Let's go here, high phosphorus content. And I'm gonna take potassium phosphate and monocalcium phosphate. So these two are not always available. Sometimes it's expensive, again. Sometimes it's not available at all. What's going to happen if I first use the decalcium phosphate? I click on formulate, nothing happens. If I select then the monocalcium phosphate, okay, it's entering the mix. The advantage of monocalcium phosphate compared to the decalcium phosphate is that monocalcium phosphate brings you some phosphorus with a little bit of calcium, while the decalcium phosphate brings you some phosphorus with a lot of calcium, which in our case is an issue because we already had that. We were on the maximum of calcium. We are more like looking for ingredients that contain some phosphorus with low levels of calcium. And now the price is 303 instead of 317. So even if the ingredient is expensive, again, we can observe a very important decrease on the global price of the feed. If you don't have phosphorus source on the market, I would strongly advise you try to get the premix that contain some enzymes like phytase, which are very useful to provide some phosphorus. The phytase is actually using one type of phosphorus that is present in the ingredients that is not assimilable. digestible for the animals, and it like break this kind of phosphorus in several parts that become avoidable to the animal. So it's a very interesting ingredient. It's a very interesting solution that you can sometimes find uh, in the premix. Sometimes it can be sold apart, but maybe you have more chance to find it in the premix. If you don't, try to get in contact with your nutritionist, or you can even contact us, and we can help you to find such a solution, which is in some cases very useful. Here is what I had to say about so this new feature. Do you have any question? That was very clear. No question. So here, don't forget. So I talked about it a little bit. So you have the possibility to add a premix or a concentrate. Do not hesitate if you have something available on the market, or if you have several products on the market, to create one. The price, the incorporation rate, uh, the nutritional information of the product, formulate, save it, and formulate with it. And if you have another one, do not hesitate to delete the first one, create another one, and compare the prices you can have at the end, because it can change a lot. And the premix we have, so I talked to you about the phytase, this enzyme that helps to provide some phosphorus to the mix. So it's taking into account this uh, the effect of this enzyme. So do not hesitate to input the quality of phytase in this if you have it, uh, and, and it will be taken into account in the formulation.